Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am Frank, and I am optimistic for you, and I want to welcome you to another video on numerology, the metaphysical discipline to study the understanding of the meanings and energies and vibrations of numbers that appear in our name, birth path, and all the numbers we encounter as we transit this journey through life here on Earth. And I want to thank you very much for being here today, and especially to you fire signs who our video is about today. All of you fire signs, Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. And welcome to all you cross watchers who are here to watch about your favorite Leo, Aries, or Sagittarian. And to anyone else who's just interested in the discipline of numerology. What we're going to discuss today is we're going to discuss the nature of the vibrational influences of the numbers of the month in which each of these three fire signs are born, and the difference within the same sign of being born between one of the 2 months in the transit of the energy of that particular sign. So let's get into it. We're going to start talking now about the energy of Aries, and the first number of transit is if you were born in March as an Aries, as opposed to being an April-born Aries, because there is a subtle difference. Now, remember that the birth month is the formative and initial energy cycle of life that we come into in this incarnation. So the first period of childhood is under the influence of this birth month, whatever that is, as well as the sign you're born under, obviously, and whatever the element of that sign is. And we all know that the fire signs are all about passion, all about energy, all about endurance and excitement and breadth of experience and intensity of engagement with the world. So now, the three signs are all at different periods of time, obviously, and their transits are different. So therefore, the cornerstone energy, even though they share the same element, the cornerstone energy of that first cycle in the formative childhood years is another tool and device we can use to understand the evolution of the identity of that child born in that month of the sign, okay, as opposed to the child born in the other month of the transit of that sign. So let's go back where I was going to get going and talk about Aries. The March-born Aries is under the influence of the month of March, which reduces to the number 3 in numerology. And the number 3 in numerology means creative self-expression. It means socializing. It means the star, the performer, the person who seeks the limelight. The person who uses words or other forms of creative expression to communicate to other human beings. So if you're an Aries born in March, you're going to be feeling as a child a great desire to socialize, to interact, to communicate, to engage the world around you, to feel like you want to be the center of attention, that you want to tell everybody about everything that's inside your head and your heart, everything you're feeling all the time. There's a deep desire, a deep desire to communicate. And the influence of the number 3 in the formative development of an Aries born in March is powerful in introducing that sense of the performer inside the Aries persona. And as a child evolves, they're going to start realizing that they have a way of attracting and charming other people. They're going to recognize the kind of spell they cast over everyone with just the sheer force of their natural charisma, because the number 3 is very charismatic, very outgoing, very expressive. And now, the only thing about the number 3 that can be a warning signal for the young Aries is that because because they see themselves as versatile and talented and so unique in the way they have all these capacities of expression, that they might scatter energy. They might try to have too many irons and too many fires, and they may dissipate and lose focus. That's something that the energy of the March-born Aries needs to be kind of emphasized to the child as they're evolving. But the name of the game for March-born Aries is fun, 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 talk, 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 party, 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 engage, be with people. They want to be around people, and they want to share everything inside of them. So it may seem like they are scattered, or that they're going in so many directions at once because they have so many passionate capacities inside them. And only until they're later on in their young adulthood, when the maturity starts setting in, will they start getting a rein and really directing these energies more focused toward accomplishing goals, toward meeting personal life objectives that are just starting to evolve. But it's a very, very exciting period of time for a young child under Aries who is already precocious, energetic, passionate, excited about living life to the fullest. They just got to guard against, kind of going overboard, kind of pushing the envelope on everything, and kind of overdoing stuff. So they got to just rein that in. Now, that's interestingly different, Cry, from the Aries child who's born in the month of April. Because under the month of April, you're under the influence of the number 4, which is a lot different than the number 3. Number 4 is the number of matter. It's the number of the earth. It's the number of the seasons. It is foundational. It is discipline. It is work-oriented. It is practicality. So you have a passionate fire sign who's already understands the engagement of life and the passions of living in a material world, and the excitement of every experience that comes in. But the April-born Aries may find themselves a little bit more regimented, constrained, forced to kind of stick their nose to the grindstone, feeling a little hemmed in perhaps by life. Maybe they go to work at an early age, or they start being put into very difficult situations as a child that require great endurance, great maturity, great fortitude. Number 4 is the number of fortitude, of endurance, of strength, of work and discipline. Oftentimes it's like wearing blinders, where one doesn't see so much of the expanse of things, and the focus is on everything straight ahead. And this can become frustrating sometimes to a young child, an Aries child, who is by nature passionate, exciting, wanting to be tear free of limitations. The number 4, if they don't learn to master it, will find that will put pressures on the young Aries child born under the influence of the number 4 in a very frustrating box. They'll feel like they're trapped in a corral of experience because they feel like they're not free to express everything they want to be, because life is imposing these restrictions and these required disciplinary exercises and experiences that force them to be more realistic and have maybe a more severe and austere childhood than a lot of other children would have, because that number 4 is a very practical, down-to-earth, tough nose to the grindstone kind of thing, and experiences of those kinds will be thrust into the lifestyle of an evolving child under the influence of number 4. Now, on the flip side, the strengthening agent and the power to toughen the character of the April-born Aries will be a huge asset further down the road as they get further on into life, because that disciplinary foundation, if it's embraced properly by the child, will give them a practical and pragmatic foundation by which they approach everything in their life, even if it's in pursuits of other fields of endeavor that require more subtlety and nuance, like the arts or academia, sciences, more esoteric studies, rather than blue-collar kinds of trades, which are more germane and natural to the energy of number 4. So the April-born Aries is clearly as passionate as the March-born Aries, but the March-born Aries is a more natural showman, seeks the limelight more, is more flamboyant, is more demanding of acknowledgement of that flamboyance, and more intense with their personality, and tends to maybe be a little more scattered and maybe a little more reckless, whereas the April-born Aries will kind of wise up to the realities of life at a much earlier stage because they're forced to see life in that very, very hard-edged, dramatic, down-to-earth way. So that's the difference between the March-born Aries and the April-born Aries. Now, let's get to our dear pals under the sign of Leo. Leo, the lion, the master of experience. Leo is, to me, perhaps the most powerful sign of the zodiac in terms of its capacity to overcome everything, its capacity for relentless success, or the desire and the drive for relentless personal success and fulfillment and happiness and will, execution of will. But so many other great capacities in Leo: great generosity of self, great loyalty, great passion for existence, and great appetites of experience of all kind. Now, let's talk about the difference between the July-born Leo and the August-born Leo. In July, the child Leo is born under the influence of the number 7. Number 7 is the number of the introvert, of the mystic, of the scientist, of the analyzer, of the intuitive, of the person looking beneath the surface of structures. So the Leo born in July is going to be a more reflective, self-directed inward expression of power and passion. The July-born Leo may find their childhood a kind of a mixed bag because their impulse, they're being bombarded by all kinds of subtle, nuanced energy, and they're perceiving things about life that are much more subtle and require more, like I said, paradigmatic analysis. In other words, they take it inward to kind of see the theory and the scaffolding underpinning what they distrust as just superficial reality. They have a distrust for what is happening to them at face value because they have an intuitive sense that there's much deeper stuff going on at work, and they want to understand why it's working that way, why it's going that way. So they tend to be a little more reserved with their energy until they size up what their environment is like, and yet they're still passionate and powerful about it. But there is a bit more sense of formality and restraint with the July-born one but they understand their intuitive sense, and they understand that intuitive sense is kind of the hair on Samson for them, that they size up stuff in ways that the August-born one will just take at face value. Okay, the August-born Leo will take at face value because the July-born Leo is a natural analyzer and thinking of things more intuitively and inwardly. So, but once a Leo of July-born Leo builds a bond with you, the trust and the bond gets very, very deep because it's based on deep personal connections predicated on deeper connection and understanding with the environment, because they're analyzing everything. They're sizing everything up for its cost-benefit relationship to them, meeting their interests, understanding what's a threat, what isn't, sizing that up intuitively on so many levels. And so their first impulse is to open up to the world, they approach it with a little more playing their cards close to the vest. All right. The August Leo is a little bit of a different animal of the same species. Okay. Passionate, expressive, big appetites, big persona like the July one, but much more cognizant of the bigness of the persona. Okay. The influence of the number 8 on Leo under this month of August, which is the 8th month, for a young child is the number of personal power and authority. A Leo born in August will tend to have an aristocratic sense of their own value. They have a very high esteem of their own value, and they're not afraid to let you know about it. Okay, it may provide a bit of snobbery in the perception of other people because they value they know their value in a way that they don't either take it for granted or expect others to take it for granted. And they're going to let you know what their boundaries are, what their expectations are, what their appetites are when you're overstepping your understanding of their value or misinterpreting it. They're there to correct it, put it in the proper place and say, no, this is who I am, what I'm about, and I expect that kind of a level. I'm the lion. I am the one who roars. I am entitled to everything that I want, and I expect to come my way. There's plenty of pride, plenty of self-confidence, plenty of personal power in the August-born Leo that there also is in the July-born Leo. But again, the ferocity of it, the intensity of it, the in-your-faceness of it is much more pronounced in the August Leo than it is in the July. Because the July Leo is a lot slyer, a lot more analytical, a lot more playing the cards close to the vest and not giving away who they are before they really release their ferocity on their environment. Whereas the August one is just so full of himself, so confident, so sure of the validation of their own personal authority and capacity to lead, to draw the abundance that they feel that there is their birthright and their expectation of the way the world reacts to them, that they're ready to just let it out to the world. And they'll take on all comers when it comes to challenges. They're not afraid of almost anything. Leo is one of the most fearless signs of the zodiac, maybe the most fearless sign. And I have the utmost respect for my Leo pals. I got a number of Leo friends, and I love them to death. And I'm glad they're on my side, I'll tell you that. But anyway, that's the difference between the July-born Leo and the August Leo. And again, you see, they're still brothers in arms, brothers in mind and spirit, being born under the same sign. But the difference of that initial impulse, that initial vibration at birth and through childhood of the different numbers imposes a different foundational energy as they start living their life and executing the understanding of their identity. Okay? And last but definitely not least, our pals, the Sagittarians up there, who's the transit of their sign is November 22nd to December 21st. Fire sign, passionate, full of life, full of volatility, excitement, appetite for change, openness, fearlessness, exploratory appetites that love to try new things all the time. Now, what is the difference between the November-born Sagittarian and the December-born Sagittarian? Okay, in the month of November, they're under the influence of the master number 11. It's one of the master numbers in numerology. 11, 22, 33 are the three more common master numbers. Unless it, through other elements in the name or the energies, it reduces to a simple 2, which is the feminine principle. So, either way, whether it's manifesting as the pure 11 of November or the 2, because you reduce in numerology multiple digits to a single digit vibration, 1 and 1 becomes 2. The Sagittarian born in November is a much more inspired, sensitive Sagittarian than the December one. They're inspired by elevated thoughts. They engage, they're involved with much subtler energies. The nature of number 2 is that feminine principle. It is the nurturing, the harmonizing, the sensitive, creating, balancing force in the universe, okay? 1 is the energy of the masculine, which acts. 2 is the energy of the feminine, which receives, which fulfills, which completes, which balances and harmonizes. So the number 2 Sagittarian of November is a much more sensitive child as they encounter the vibration of 11-2 in the early part of their first cycle of life. And again, these energies, these month energies, are the cornerstone energies, the first energies that the child experiences as they encounter the journey of this life. So they're the foundational formative energies of each each individual, and in these cases, each fire sign, okay? So the November, again, born Sagittarian is sensitive, is moody, is emotional, is passionate, has feeling, probably very artistic, has very artistic impulses, is very much a group person, not a freewheeler, person who enjoys being a part of other people's experiences, sharing the experiences of others, likes to follow, not necessarily lead. And not by follow meaning rolling over for somebody, but just the idea of like being the partnering energy with other people, because they enjoy picking up and completing and harmonizing the energies of others. So the beautiful, passionate energies of Sagittarius, of the fire, the way they feel life deeply and share it, is mitigated and intensified and beautified by this elevated inspirational number 11, or even the sensitive feminine energy of the number 2. So the early formative years of a Sagittarian under the influence of the number 211 may be difficult in ways because they are susceptible to very unusual, elevated thoughts that they may not know how to process as a child, okay? And only later in young adulthood, when more maturity started to evolve, they will start probably getting a grasp of what those energies have always meant and how they've gone into forming how they look at the world, and will have a better grasp and a capacity to control and direct the energy of the number 2 and the number 11 a lot more. But you have a beautiful, passionate spirit now, modified and beautified by a sensitized and inspired energy of the number 2. So that's the November born Sagittarian. Now, how are they different from the December born Sagittarian? Now, with the December born Sagittarian, they're under the influence of 12, the month of December, 1 and 2, which is a 3, which goes back to the energy influencing the March born Aries under the influence of number 3. So we have the same thing kind of happening here, only with the Sagittarian style, the Sagittarian flair for the way they manifest all their energies, okay? But you got the influence of the number 3 on a Sagittarian means showtime, playtime, party time. They want to share who they are. They want center stage. They love to share everything that's in their head and in their heart. They want to talk your ears off, have you talk their ear off. They don't care. They love the exchange and flow of social energy. It's all about socializing. It's all about creative expression. It's all about performing. It's all about being the center of attention. It's all about the flair of their personality, taking center stage and being the center of attention. They feel completely at ease talking to anyone. They'll talk to anyone endlessly about anything because that's who they are. They're driven by the cornerstone energy of their childhood, which is the number 3, which is intense feeling and a desire that through language or other performing mechanisms, either an art form or some other vehicle of expression, they want to communicate what's inside of them, their deepest feelings, their smallest thoughts, their biggest appetites, their smallest peeves. Everything's got to find a way into words for them so that they can share it with everyone there who's ready to listen. And they're always ready to talk if you're ready to listen. But it's infectious, their passionate energy infused with this great social energy that wants to link people together in social settings and to entertain, amuse, elevate, and star as the centerpiece of any social occasion. So that's the difference between the Sagittarian born in December and the one who's much more inspired, maybe sensitized, much more cooperative, and other person driven than the one born in December. So they're close in a lot of the way the energies manifest, because 2 and 3 are very close in the way they express. They're both creative energies, and they both are harmonizing energies. It's just that the 3 is much more willful and social. The 2 is much more passive, responsive, and harmonizing. But very subtle difference for both of the Sagittarians born in the different months, but very interesting to see again how these subtle differences do inform the nature of the very same sign. And just the way the numbers of the day you're born affect the fact that how you manifest who you are under whatever sign. But that foundational cornerstone monthly energy is so critical to the way the evolution of your own identity as one of these signs is sort of branded on your soul and on your spirit, and becomes the MO of how your soul manifests and starts expressing as it encounters the other numbers on your birthday and as you encounter other energies through the transit of your own life. Anyway, I hope you found that interesting, informative, and exciting. I certainly do. I think it's wonderful information, and it's really adds so much insight into an already fascinating subject of astrology. But anyway, thank you for joining me, and I hope you've enjoyed everything we've been talking about. And if you like what you heard, I hope you'll subscribe, hit the like icon, share it with your friends, leave me a comment. I will answer any comment. Be glad to help you out, answer questions about anything you might have, or respond to any comment or observation you made. And if I may, I'd like to take a moment. If you'll notice over here in the corner, there's an icon here, which is the cover of my volume of collected poems, which I'd like to tell you about. It's my life's work of writing. Besides being a numerologist, I am also a poet. And this is my volume called The Au Revoir of an Enormous Us. It's my life's work, over 50 years of writing poetry about experience, love, joy, sorrow, imagination, voyages through many, many realms of consciousness and feeling and emotion, about my travels in the world, about my encounters, and all kinds of stuff. I'm very, very proud of it. It's a substantial volume, about 500 pages, and it's available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. I hope you'll do me the honor and privilege of checking it out. You can look through it. It has some look inside feature where you can read some of the poems. But one thing I'd like to bring to your attention that you might find of interest, especially being someone interested in metaphysics and numerology and all the metaphysical sciences, is there's a whole section of about 50, 60 pages of poems dedicated to the major arcana of the tarot cards that I'm very proud of, called the Arcane Reveries. And they're meditative, poetic sketches about the meanings, energies, and just the nature of many of the major arcana, 22 cards of the major arcana of the tarot deck. It's beautifully illustrated. Each one is kind of a different kind of a narrative, spoken from perspective sometimes of the character in the card, sometimes from my own imagination, through meaning suggested by tarot card readings and other stuff. But I hope you'll check it out again, and it's part of my volume of collected poems, The Au Revoir of an Enormous Up, and I hope you, or Enormous Us, and I hope you'll check it out. Thank you so much for allowing me to share that with you. Again, I want to ask you to please either subscribe, like, share if you've enjoyed this. I appreciate so much your kindness to be a part of this journey with me. I hope this was inspiring, illuminating, and that you gain something from this knowledge, whether you're one of the fire signs we've talked about, or you're a cross-watcher watching on behalf of someone of importance to you who's one of these three signs, or you're just someone who's just fascinated by the study of numerology and want to learn more about it. Anyhow, there'll be more videos I'll be coming up with about the other astrological signs and the meanings of their monthly vibration. I hope you'll check them out on YouTube. But I'll be coming forward with more stuff. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for making this happen for me. I'm so proud to be able to present this to you, and it's just my little gift to the universe, kind of make people aware about this amazing study of an amazing language called numerology. And just remember, it's all in the numbers, baby. And I want to send you all love and light. I don't know if I made a heart there or if I made an apple or an artichoke or something, but love and light to y'all. God bless you all. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.